Hey, this is a video on refurbishing your window switches for the Triumph Stag. Here's one that I had already put back together, but I'll talk about how I disassembled one. When I was a kid, I used to watch Blue Peter. They'll show you the finished product, and then they'll sort of show you how to go ahead and take one apart. So let's begin. So I already pulled it apart actually, but I'm going to walk you through the steps. Now you'll notice trying to get it out of the piece of wood, I don't know if you can see carefully, but somebody's tried to pry it off the piece of wood, and there's little sort of screwdriver marks here. Now it is relatively difficult to pull off the panel, the piece of wood on the gear lever mechanism, because you actually have these little metal clips. There should be 4 of them, and what happens is once it clips in, it's relatively difficult to pull out. Now I've lost a couple. As you can see, there should have been 4, 2 on one side, 2 on the other, but I only have 2 which I put on the other side. And what these actually do is when you push them into the piece of wood, they stop the switch sticking up. As you can see, that I only have 2 for this, so I use this. Now, these do make it somewhat difficult to pull out. Some people disconnect the piece of wood and push them out from underneath, and that might be an easier step. I do actually have a broken piece of wood that I may bring and show. So anyway, once you pulled off, what will happen is the switch, I've already taken apart, but I will show it to you. It actually sits inside here, and you'll see, and always I do things with one hand, there's 2 little prongs here, one on this side and one on this side. You need to squeeze them. Try to be careful, and once you squeeze them, you can actually slide it out of this black thing. Now as you can see, here's a little dimple here, a little dimple there, and this is the top lever. Just get a screwdriver, again be very careful, and you can pry it off. Now when you do pry it off, you want to be super careful. There's these little things go flying everywhere. I actually lost a spring, but fortunately I have a spare switch from another car. This I think was told from a Jaguar. As you can see, it's different. I opened that up and I was able to save some springs. But what happens is when you open this up, this thing sits inside the cap. Sorry, here. If I can get it in, it's very difficult to do it while I'm got the phone looking through the phone, but it does fit on this. There you go. And then you have these springs. I'm not going to put it on, and then you put the springs in these holes, and then you push this inside here, and since they're spring loaded, they actually toggle. So as I said, once you get those off, you can pry the lid off, and you'll see these 2 things inside this switch, and they actually toggle back and forwards like this, and they make contacts. So what you can do is clean up the dimples, clean up the contact inside here. I've used a Dremel tool that has some sort of emery thing on the end, and then you can clean these up. Here I have some dielectric grease that I've used, and this is the one I about to clean up, but I haven't. This is one that I've cleaned up, and this is moving very, very smoothly now. I would recommend, if you've got a 50-year-old Stag, to go ahead and refurbish these switches, even if you're, well, I would say that if your windows are working, don't touch it. I do have a window problem that I'm going to look into. Now this switch is complete. What I will then do is, you know, unfortunately there's nothing that you can do to clean these up. People say just use some Armor All or whatever, but they do go black again after some point. I'm aware SOC is making some new covers, so stay tuned. And then what you do is you push it in here and it clicks in. And then this is the other one. And then it clicks in, and then what you do is you push it into the piece of wood. I do have a sample piece of wood, but as I said, I'll see if I can get that. But as I said, you want to be careful. Once you've pushed in that piece of wood, it becomes relatively difficult to pull out. And I suppose what could happen is these metal clips may get left inside. No, they're pretty solid, but they may get inside the gear shifter area. So if you do pull it out, you just want to be careful you don't lose them. As I said, I only have two. Looks like somebody had tampered. Well, I could tell somebody had tampered with it before because it had pry marks. You can still see, well, I rub my hand on there, there's pry marks on this that someone had done. So I'm actually trying to resolve a window problem. My window is very slow, and now it's winter. It's not moving up or down, or it's in the opposition, but it's not moving down. So I'm trying to figure out what could be the problem, if it's electrical or mechanical. I have put the motor wires directly to the motor. It seems to work okay, but I'm not 100% sure what's going on. So I'm starting from the electrical problem. I will write another video on that, do another video when I'm actually working on the car in that. But at the moment, I just wanted to show you how you can dismantle your switches and clean them up if you needed to. And again, be super careful. You may want to work on your kitchen counter like I am now with a metal plate here. These two springs spring out of these things and they go flying. So again, just be super careful. This was fortunately, I was at swap meet here in America. It looks somewhat similar. I think it's I picked it up from a box of free stuff for Jags. I was able to pull the little spare springs out of that. The cover, by the way, does look very similar in form factor. And this is the actual cover that went on that switch. If I put it side by side, sorry, if I put it side by side, it's slightly smaller, but it's the same sort of switch. So never throw anything out. So again, as I said, I'm super happy with this switch. It was never like this before, so hopefully I'll just take the other ones off as well. Okay, just a continuation. So I was able to get my scrap broken shift gate that I got from somebody. The interior light, dome light, is slightly different configuration, but I just wanted to show that this is somewhat similar. This, as you can see, this is broken, but here if you push that in, hopefully you can see that clip. I mean, once it goes in, it's a bit difficult to push in, but you can see that once that clip goes in, it's quite difficult to pry it out, and it might be more beneficial to actually remove this piece of wood, turn it over, and use a screwdriver and push the switches out from the behind. But anyway, that's just an update on that. This one doesn't go here, it actually went here, and maybe if somebody gave me this, and I'm assuming they couldn't figure out how to take it out, and they just ripped it out from the back. That's the way. The correct way is there's a piece of rubber strip here. You actually take the coin tray out, and then there's a couple of screws here, and you pull it up from this end. But I have a feeling this guy, whoever gave it to me, had broken it from the other end. But anyway, just some things to look out for. Okay.